Hey guys, so I'm going to show you how to use Nuke and set up the script for JAWS. So sorry about my terrible microphone quality, but please bear with me. So when we open Nuke, we have the menu here. We just go to File, Recent Files, and you can open the shot template. And we can just say no to autosave. And when you get the shot template, you're going to have the footage up here at the top. If we double click the footage, we can select where we want to bring in our new footage. So we just click here, and we're just going to choose our new footage. In my case, it's just in here, but you'll have to figure out where it is on my laptop. JAWS, Movies, Day 8, and I don't know what any of these are, but I'll just try it on this one. Okay, so we have our footage here, and as you can see, this is the viewer, and I have number 1 connected, and I just did that by clicking number 1 on the keyboard. So with nothing connected, we have a blank screen. As soon as we click this and hit number 1, it'll automatically connect number 1 on the viewer to that. So the first step is to denoise our footage. So I'm going to click on denoise, hit 1, and now I'm looking through my denoise. So in order to change the attributes of denoise, just double click it, and it brings it up here. You can see here denoise in the properties bin, and we're just going to grab this area and we're going to choose a flat spot to sample from for the grain pattern. So obviously the sky would be the best area, so I'm just going to drag that out to an even coverage. Then we can just zoom in here. This computer's so slow, it's not as fast as my laptop. So we zoom in here, and let's finish this loading. How we can see if we can toggle this on and off to see if it actually made a difference by hitting D. Just wait for that to load. So as you can see, if you look in here, you can see it's removed a lot of the compression. You probably won't be able to see because this movie is so badly compressed, but basically you're just going to toggle it off and on to check how much it actually changes, and if it doesn't look like it's, like if you can see there's a lot of grain in it still, then just try knocking up the denoise amount a little bit, and that'll remove more of the grain or less of the grain, whatever you think you need to get sort of a more flat image. Next thing is we're just going to go down in our script here, and just pull this up, just go down in our script, and we're going to go down to the reformat. This will, in your script, it'll have a transform below it, so mine doesn't have that, yours should have that. So just click on reformat, and once again click on 1 so it connects the viewer to the next input. And as you can see, that's very poorly framed, so what we're going to do is open up the transform, double click it, and now we have this tool here. We have the option of moving it up or moving it down until we get sort of a framing that we like. And just so you know how I did that, to clear that is pressing this button here will clear the entire properties bin. So that'll clear that bin. So I'm just going to open up transform, and we can just move it up and down until we get sort of framing we like. Probably going to have, oh, I should be looking at the transform, by the way. That's why I'm not seeing any changes. I wasn't looking at the transform. So whenever you're doing something, always make sure that your viewer, as you can see, my viewer is connected to the transform. So if you look at the viewer here, you can see that now it's connected to the transform. So I had it connected up here, and just make sure that you're looking at what you actually want to look at. So now we can move it around a little bit, and probably want something like that. And as you can see, I've kind of like moved it in X as well as Y, and we really only want to move it up because this is reformatting only for height, not for width. So you can just zero this out. So you can see the X there, just zeroes it out. And now you can see that this is the actual bounding box of what we originally had here and here. And now it's cropped, and it's only moved in Y. So now we just clear the properties bin, and we look at our grain, make sure that looks right, and as you can see, it's working good. And then we have our out, and this is down here, this yellow thing is our write node. So when we write our images, we want to have this, we want to have it cropped, everything like that. And yours will probably have like an extra node that's called crop under here. That'll just get rid of that extra bounding box. So once we have it cropped, degrained, and denoised, and then regrained with the JAWS grain, now we want to write out our sequence. So we're just going to go here. And this is basically the opposite of the read node, it's just a write node. So we'll go to our area where we want to write it to, which is right off Moogs. jaws, and it's going to be final shots. And for final shots, we should have in your computer, you'll have like file numbers and stuff. So we're going to just call this like shot. I think it's like shot 8 or something like that. Shot 8, whatever, doesn't matter. This is just an example. And then you just name it by the same name. So shot underscore 8 underscore hash 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 dot TGA. So I'll just highlight that so you can see that. So shot underscore number underscore 4 hashes and then dot TGA for the sequence. And then just make sure that compression is always set to none, and this should be set to default sRGB. And then when we write it out, we want to just write it to our global frame range, and that'll render it to what we actually have chosen here. So as you can see, I have selected 70 to 166. If you want to change that, all you need to do is click in the viewer here and hit S, and that'll bring up to settings, S for settings, and then you can change it here. So let's say if I wanted like instead I wanted like 50 to 75 or 75, I just go like that, and now you can see that my global frame range has changed just to 60 or 50 to 75. That way, when I render this out and go to global, it'll just render those frames. So that's sort of how we can do some kind of pre-editing to reduce the amount of frames in each of our sequences. And then when you're done that, all you do is hit OK, and that's it. And the second thing I was going to show you is the steadiness. So if we had a shot that was really shaky, we are going to bring in a tool called F steadiness. So if you just hit tab and we do F underscore steadiness, go down, hit enter, and now we can just bring that onto our main sort of pipe here. We just bring it right below the denoise, and it'll highlight it so we know that it's dropped on the right area. And this is the magic button that stabilizes anything, basically the make stabilize button. And in this case, I'm just going to choose a Coke can, just put it around an area that kind of stays the same. You wouldn't want to do it on Monica because she's running across the frame. These people also are moving a lot, and the Coke thing seems to be a pretty solid object that's easy recognizable and doesn't move around a lot. So I'm just going to go like this, and I'm going to view the steadiness and hit. Well, before I hit analyze, I need to set it to my frame range. Otherwise, it's going to analyze the whole entire thing, and that'll take forever. So I'm just going to specify my range, and I'm going to set it to the same range I have here. So 50 to 75. And then I just press the magic button and it'll do its little thing. So if we come back and look at our footage, you can see if we look at number 1 here, I have it hooked up to my steadiness, and you can see how steady it is. Like if you look at the horizon here, you can see it's really smooth. If I go back to the original footage, you can see it's kind of a lot more jumpy. So F steadiness is just a really nice way to, I don't know if you can even see it on the screen, but it's a really nice way to just smooth out the footage. We have to be really careful with the usage of it, that we don't use it too much, because it does have its limits, but it's nice just for adding like a general sort of smooth motion to your footage. One more thing I wanted to show you is with the transform here at the bottom, for something like where if we wanted to punch in on some footage to just make it cropped a little bit more, a little closer, we can actually go here and go into the scale, and we can scale this up a bit. So if we wanted to have, I better be looking at it first. So if we want to have like a more cropped in look, we can use this scale, and we can scale it up. This thing is so slow, it's retarded. Your laptop should not be this slow. My computer is just so retarded now. So you can go up to like 1.5, any higher than 1.5 and you're going to kind of lose resolution, but basically you can do that, and then you can move it around to, like, say I want it to be like cut out Kurt, we could just frame it up like this. Freaking computer is so slow. It's just so weird. I'm like sitting here in the office just talking to myself. It's so weird. I've never done this before. Okay, so now we have Kurt cropped out, and we have it just a little bit closer, and as you can see, like we're not really losing any resolution. Like obviously you can't see because this compression is so shitty, but we're not really losing any quality like that. So basically you can just use that with scale like that, and then you can use the transform thing to move it around and scale it exactly how you want it. And once again, like this is something we kind of like We don't want to do too much of this kind of post zoom because it is kind of a cheat. So we'll just be careful with like the usage of this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's about it. Write out your sequence, make sure it's named properly, and when you're saving your stuff, go make sure you don't save over the template. So save it as like a shot number under the scripts. So here, like scripts, like I only have a couple here, but you'll do like same thing, right? Like so shot _8, and you just save it like version 1. Save it like that so that we have everything organized and we can go back easily and it's not hard to figure out what's what. Alright, hopefully you guys understand that. If you have any problems, you can text me or email me. Thank you.